Hi everyone, we are from Tutorial 1 Group 4 and our topic for today is the Organization of International Business. And these are our members. We have Arina, Sophia, Hanis, Iza, Ariba, Tarani, Elias, Vetra, Chuyen, and Kohui. So question 1. The choice of strategy for a multinational firm must depend on a comparison of the benefits of that strategy in terms of value creation with the costs of implementing it as defined by organizational architecture necessary for implementation. On the basis, it may be logical for some firms to pursue a localization strategy, others a global or international strategy, and still others a transnational strategy. Is this statement correct? Yes, the statement is correct because the choice of strategy for a multinational firm depends on carefully weighing the benefits against the costs. And here's why. Firstly, value creation and costs. Firms aim to create value by differentiating products, reducing costs, or enhancing customer responsiveness. However, implementing strategies incurred costs related to, for example, adjusting organizational structure, managing complex coordination across borders, investing in infrastructure and operations. Therefore, the choice of strategy must align with the value to cost ratio for the firm. Moreover, different strategies are based on firm needs. The first strategy, localization strategy, the focus is to customize products and marketing to local markets. Their value is to address local needs effectively and build strong customer relationships. And the cost will be higher due to the duplication of processes across markets. The second strategy is global strategy, where the focus is to standardize products to achieve economics of scale. The value is the significant cost reductions and the efficiencies from the global integration, while the cost will be limited because of the responsiveness to the local markets. As for the third one, international strategy, their focus is to export core competencies developed at home to foreign markets. Their value leverages home-based capabilities in multiple markets, and their cost will be less because of the less investment in local adaptation and the implementation costs as well. The last one is transnational strategy, where the focus is to balance global efficiency and local responsiveness by integrating operations and leveraging knowledge across borders. The value is high through flexibility and coordination, while the cost will be complex and high because of the organizational structure and the high investment. Now, why strategy choice varies? Because some industries face strong cost pressures because they favor global strategies, while others require responsiveness to local markets because they favor localization. The other reason is organizational architecture, because implementing strategies like transnational strategies requires advanced systems, networks, and management capabilities, which can be very costly.
Question 2. Discuss this statement. An understanding of the causes and consequences of performance ambiguity is central to the issue of organizational design in multinational firms. So, performance ambiguity happens when we are really hard to figure out how well the different parts of the company are doing, especially in the multinational firms. But the level of performance ambiguity actually depends much on the firm's strategic focus. So, if the performance ambiguity is low, so it's much more because of the localization strategies. Because in this strategy, each subunit they actually operates independently to meet different needs of the local market. For example, maybe there's a branch in Japan, may create its own marketing campaigns and also manage its own sale. So they don't need much input from other branches. So because they actually works on its own, so it will be much more easier for the company to measure how well they're actually performing because they are not influenced by the other parts of the company. However, for the global standardization and also transnational strategies, they actually require the subunits in different countries. They have to work close together. For example, maybe there's a factory in China and they produce the components, but the R&D for the product design is done in Germany and etc. So since these different subunits, they actually depends on each other to succeed. So it becomes harder to figure out which subunit is actually responsible for the success or the failure of the overall operation. So next one, the consequences of performance ambiguity. The first one is it will actually complicate the evaluation of subunit efficiency and also effectiveness. Why we say that is because performance ambiguity, they actually makes it hard to judge how well is actually different parts of the company are working. So what the top management have to do is they have to spend a lot of time and money to collect all this information to figure the things out. So the next one is creates a culture of blame. Because when it's unclear which part of the company is actually responsible for some results, so the managers, they may avoid taking responsibility. Instead, they might also blame each other teams for the failures. So to handle the performance ambiguity effectively, companies actually need to design their organizational structure to match their strategic goals. So the first one is through control systems. So through this, companies actually should focus on cultural controls and also bureaucratic controls. Because by doing so, it will actually build a strong company culture that promotes shared value and also teamwork across all the units. Next, the bureaucratic controls will also need the company to align the actions of different subunits. So this will actually reduce the misunderstandings and also ensure consistency and coordination between different teams. So the next one is incentive systems. So instead of rewarding only individual subunits, the company actually can link rewards to the performance of larger groups. For example, maybe like a region or even the entire company. So why they have to do that? Because by doing so, the teams are motivated to help each other rather than they compete with each other. So this will actually reduce the conflicts because success actually depends on cooperation.
For the third question, describe the organizational architecture that a transnational firm might adopt to reduce the cost of control. So I will explain how transnational firms use control system and incentive to lower the cost of controlling employees while ensuring everyone stays aligned with the company's goals. First is control system. Control system reduce control costs by minimizing the need for constant supervision. Cultural control creates shared values and norms, so employees naturally act in ways that align with the company's goals. For example, in a company that values innovation, employees focus on creativity without needing detailed instructions, so it can reduce the need for micromanagement. Output control setting measurable goals like profit targets, where teams can be evaluated based on their results instead of being closely monitored during their work. This saves time and resources while maintaining accountability. Next is incentive. Incentive motivate employees to self-manage, which lowering control costs further. Individual incentive is sort of rewards like bonus for meeting targets. This push employees to take a responsibility to their performance, which can reduce the need for supervision. Lastly is collective incentive, which is rewards tied to the company's success, like profit sharing. This may encourage teamwork and align everyone's effort with organizational goals. It helps reduce the need for extra layers of control.
Good day everyone, I'm Ariba and I'll be presenting question 4. Question 4 asks us what is the most appropriate organizational structure for a firm that is competing in an industry where a global strategy is most important. In today's competitive global landscape, companies need the right strategy to compete. A global strategy offers key advantages: standardized products for economies of scale, streamlined operations for efficiency, and centralized control for consistency. But a strategy is only as good as its execution. To win with a global strategy, we need an organizational structure that supports these goals. A centralized structure with global product divisions is often optimal for global success. This structure provides strong headquarters control, which ensures consistency in branding, product development, and strategic direction. Dedicated product focused divisions allow for deep expertise and focused market penetration. This structure also facilitates efficient resource and knowledge sharing across regions. While structure is important, there are other factors which are very crucial for success. Finding the right balance between global standardization and adapting to local needs is essential. Open communication channels are vital for coordinating across divisions and regions. Investing in skilled global managers who can navigate the complexities of a global marketplace is also key. The right organizational structure combined with these considerations is crucial for effectively implementing a global strategy and achieving a competitive advantage.
Question number 5. If a firm is changing its strategy from an international to a transnational strategy, what are the most important challenges it is likely to face in implementing the change? How can the firm overcome these challenges? When a firm transitions from an international strategy to a transnational strategy, it faces several significant challenges. Here are 6 challenges. First is balancing global integration and local responsiveness. So, a transnational strategy requires balancing the need for global integration with the need for local adaptation. This balance is crucial but challenging to maintain. Firms need to ensure that while they standardize a certain aspect globally, they also need to adapt to local preferences and market conditions. Second is coordination and control. Implementing a transnational strategy involves managing operation across various regions, which demands a high level of coordination and control. This includes ensuring consistency in product quality, customer service, and brand image across all locations. Firms needs to robust system and processes to manage these challenges effectively, such as aligning business functions like marketing, production, and logistic across multiple locations. Third, decentralization and centralized versus decentralized decision making. So, decentralizing decision making can help in local responsiveness, but may lead to inconsistency in global integration. So, firms must strike a balance between centralized and decentralized decision making structures. For example, having a centralized structure for global integration while allowing local offices to make decisions that are responsive to local markets. Next is cultural and regulatory differences. Firms need to navigate different regulatory environments, cultural differences, and market dynamics. So, hiring local employees at all levels and listening to their feedback can help in understanding and adapting to local cultures and regulations. This approach can prevent alienating local customers due to cultural misunderstandings. Next, logistical and technological hurdles. So, coordinating supply chains, managing international teams, and synchronizing processes across different time zones and operational standards can be quite complex. So, leveraging technologies such as cloud computing can facilitate communication and collaboration, but also requires careful management to ensure data security and operational efficiency. Lastly, is maintaining a brand consistency. To ensure that local teams do not stray too far from the brand's central message is totally crucial. So, firms need to partner with local teams from the start to develop a marketing campaigns and ensure that all subsidiaries or franchises meet the standardization guidelines to maintain a consistent brand identity.
Good day to Dr. and everyone. Next, I will be presenting on how to overcome these challenges. For the challenge number one, we can establish dual management team, one focused on global strategy and another for local market adaptation. We can also use data analytics to understand regional consumer preferences and adjust offerings accordingly. Third, we can implement cross-functional training for employees to develop both global and local perspective. For the second challenge, we can invest in enterprise resource planning, the ERP system, and other technologies to enhance coordination. We can also develop clear communication channels and shared performance metrics for all regions. And lastly, we can create regional hubs to decentralize control while ensuring alignment with global objectives. And for the third challenge, we can adopt a hybrid decision-making structure where strategic decisions are centralized, but tactical ones are localized. Besides that, we can provide guidelines and frameworks to local teams to ensure consistency while allowing flexibility. And lastly, regularly conduct a global local collaboration workshops to align strategies. To overcome the fourth challenge, we can hire local expert and legal advisors to navigate regulatory frameworks effectively, and we can also incorporate cultural sensitivity training for employees and leadership. And finally, we can develop a feedback mechanism to continuously adapt to culture and market-specific needs. And then for the logistical and technological challenges, we can implement advanced supply chain management tools to track and optimize logistics. We can also use cloud-based collaboration platforms to ensure seamless communication between international teams. And lastly, we can also partner with third-party logistics providers for region-specific expertise. And last but not least, for the maintaining brand consistency challenge, we can develop a brand book with clear guidelines on visual and messaging standards. We can also partner with local marketing agencies to ensure campaigns are culturally relevant while aligned with global branding. And lastly, conduct a regular audits and reviews to ensure compliance with brand guidelines across regions.
Hello, my name is Elias Kaliri, and I'm going to tackle the question to what extent the organizational culture of Lincoln Electronic is aligned with the firm's strategy. Lincoln Electronic is a global leading manufacturer of wheeling products, and its success is heavily relied on the fact that it had a really high average working productivity. The culture of Lincoln Electronic is, of course, influenced by its founder called James Lincoln, who had a strong belief that ordinary people could achieve something extraordinary with the right belief and motivation. Um, Gains in productivity should be directly shared with consumers by lowering the price or with workers by increasing their wage. In the eyes of James, Lincoln should be a meritocracy, meaning that the effort put into the work should be directly translated into reward, meaning that workers who work differently or different amounts or put different effort should also get a different wage. In general, even contradicting to the last statement, Lincoln wanted to establish an egalitarian culture between the workers and the corporation. Now, talking about the realization, the organizational structure, in general, there's no base salary in Lincoln Electronic, but a salary based on the amount of goods you produce, meaning that if a worker produces more units, he also receives more money. In addition to that, and also strengthening the idea of the egalitarian culture, there's a removal of the communication barrier or open door policy, meaning that everybody talks with everyone on equal terms. Everybody eats in the same cantina. There are no reserved parking lots for managers. It is ensured that the whole working environment is constructed that everybody is on the same hierarchy. Also talking about the fact that Lincoln should be a meritocracy. Semi-annual bonuses based on merit ratings like attitude to cooperation and quality of work should ensure that workers who are putting more effort into the company, into the work, into the quality of their work should be rewarded more than others. And all these things lead to the fact that people are really eager to perform or to excel in their performance, which goes in line with the culture idea of James Lincoln. And this also helps Lincoln Electronic to remain their leading position in the global market of welding products.
The next question will be, how was the culture at Lincoln Electric created and nurtured over time? The culture at Lincoln Electric was shaped by the vision of James Lincoln, who believed in individual capability and equality. He broke down workplace hierarchies by promoting open communication and mutual respect. For example, there were no reserved parking spaces for manager, and all employees shared the same dining facility. Lincoln's strong belief in meritocracy led to a piecework compensation system that fairly rewarded employees based on their productivity and quality, while ensuring high standards were consistently maintained and requiring the repair of any defects. Since 1934, employees have received semi-annual bonuses based on both objective factors like production and quality, and subjective factors like teamwork and reliability. This system motivated employees to work harder and innovate. Lincoln's philosophy of sharing productivity gains through higher wages for employee, lower prices for customer, and dividends for shareholder, which align individual success with the company goals. Over time, these practices become deeply embedded in the company, fostering a culture of fairness, motivation, and exceptional performance, which helped Lincoln Electric become a low-cost industry leader. While this culture thrived in the US, it faced challenges adapting globally due to differences in cultural and legal systems.
Let's dive into the question 6, number C, why the Lincoln Electric's cultural and incentive systems work well in the US and why they did not take in other nations.
Hi everyone, I'm Hanis. So for my part, the question is, why did Lincoln Electric's cultures and incentive system work well in the United States? So here is the 4 reasons why. The first one is cultural alignment. Lincoln Electric's approach aligns perfectly with American values of individualism and meritocracy. Employees are rewarded directly for their efforts and productivity, which drive motivation and performance. The system celebrates individual contribution while promoting excellence. The second point is strong organizational culture. The company culture plays a key role. This is because it fosters an egalitarian workplace. Everyone from managers to factory workers share the same cafeterias and open communication channel. This creates a sense of belonging, trust, and loyalty, which in turn enhance teamwork and also morale. The third point is effective incentive system. The incentive system are highly innovative and practical. This is because employees are paid through pieceworks, meaning their earnings directly reflect their output. Additionally, merit ratings evaluate performance on both objective criteria like quality and subjective ones like teamwork and dependability. This ensures employees remain motivated to excel not just individually but as part of a team. And the last one is productivity sharing. Lincoln Electric goes beyond rewarding individuals. The gains from improved productivities are shared among employees through bonuses, consumers through lower price, and shareholders through higher profits. This creates a strong sense of alignment between the company and its workforce.
Hello everyone. On the other hand, I will explain why Lincoln Electric's culture and incentives systems did not really work really well in other nations. So first, because of the cultural differences. The cultural differences played a big role. In the US, people value individual success and rewards based on personal effort. But in many other countries, people focus more on teamwork and group success. They didn't like the idea of paying workers only for how much they produce. In fact, some workers thought it was unfair and stressful. Second, there were legal problems in some countries. For example, in Germany, the piecework system was illegal. In Brazil, bonuses paid for more than 2 years become a legal entitlement. So this made it harder for Lincoln to use and implement these systems. Third, unions were a challenge. So many of the companies Lincoln bought were unionized. These unions didn't like the piecework system and resisted it because they thought it was bad for workers. Fourth, Lincoln let local managers run the companies they required. So these managers didn't always understand Lincoln's cultures or wanted to change how things were done. This made it harder to create the same success Lincoln had in the US. Finally, in some places, workers valued free time more than extra pay. They weren't willing to work as hard as American workers for financial incentives. In short, cultural differences, legal issues, union resistance, and management challenges all made it difficult for Lincoln Electric systems to succeed in other countries.
So here is summary of closing case of Philips' 120 years of organization change.
Philips started in 1891 in Holland and making the lighting products. However, due to the small domestic market, it slowly expanded globally. So each country's organization, they are operated independently and handling their own manufacturing, marketing, and also sales department. But the R&D department were centralized in Holland. So this setup actually worked well for decades. So this also helps Philips to adapt products and marketing to the local markets. However, in 1970s, this decentralized structure has actually led to duplication of efforts and also high costs. So these will actually make Philips less competitive. After that, Philips actually tried to shift the power to product divisions and also centralize production. However, many senior managers, they resisted the change because they are loyal to the national organization where they built their careers before.
Next, in the 1990s, Korbonstra undertook a significant restructuring effort by reducing Philips' 21 product divisions to 7 global divisions. This move focused on global development, production, and marketing. National organizations were reduced to handling only local sales and marketing after this reorganization. By 2001, Gerard Clisterly streamlined Philips further into 3 global divisions, which is healthcare, lighting, and consumer lifestyle. He also shifted production to low-cost locations to optimize efficiency and cost effectiveness. By the 2010s, Philips shifted its focus entirely to the growing global healthcare market, selling off its electronics and lighting business. And today, Philips operates with global divisions managing development and marketing, while national subsidiaries handle local sales, approvals, and limited product development.
Question 1. Why did Philips' organization structure make sense in the 1950s and 1970s? And why did this structure start to create problems for the company in the 1980s?
Why did Philips' organization structure make sense in the 1950s and the 1970s? There are 3 reasons for it. First is adaptation to local market needs. In the 1950s, Philips' strong national organization structure enabled each country to customize products, marketing, and sales strategies to suit with the local market needs. And all of this enabled the company to effectively compete in diverse national markets and offer a tailored solution to local consumers. Second, decentralized operations with autonomy. So the decentralized approach where each national organization manage its own operations. All of this minimize reliance on central operations and allowing a quicker responses to local challenges. So this was particularly effective in high trade barriers as a self-sufficient national units where it avoid across border production and supply chain complications. And lastly is centralized R&D for efficiency and innovation. So Philips maintains a centralized R&D function in Eindhoven, allowing it to focus on developing advanced technologies and products while delegating production and market-specific adaptations to national organization, thereby balancing innovation and local execution despite its decentralized manufacturing and sales setup.
So why did this structure create problems in the 1980s? Firstly, increased global competition. Japanese companies like Sony and Matsushita, as well as Samsung, began serving global markets from centralized production facilities, and these competitors achieved significant economies of scale, allowing them to reduce costs and undercut Philips' prices. And Philips' decentralized structure could not match the cost efficiencies of these rivals. Secondly, the efficiencies in their decision-making and coordination. Philips' structure was described as a plate of spaghetti due to its complexity and lack of coordination between national organizations and product divisions. National organizations resisted changes that reduced their autonomy, hindering the company's ability to implement a unified global strategy. So senior managers that are loyal to their respective national organizations were reluctant to relinquish control over the local operations. And finally, lack of centralized control in manufacturing and marketing. While Philips centralized its R&D in Eindhoven, its manufacturing and marketing operations remain fragmented across national organizations. So the competitors centralized these functions, allowing for better control, innovation implementation, and also cost management, while Philips' decentralized approach prevented it from fully leveraging the advantages of scale and consistency.
So let's dive into question 2 from the case study. Today I will explain what Philips was trying to achieve by changing its organizational structure. So what was Philips trying to achieve? First, Philips wanted to become more efficient. In the old structure, every national organization was responsible for its own manufacturing, marketing, and sales. This led to a lot of duplications because similar tasks were being done in many different countries. As a result, the company had very high costs. Second, Philips aimed to achieve scale economies. Competitors like Sony and Samsung had centralized production facilities. This allowed them to produce at a larger scale, which lowered their costs and made them more competitive in global markets. Philips needed to centralize its production to compete effectively. Finally, Philips wanted to focus more on global markets. By giving product divisions control over product development, production, and marketing, on a global scale, Philips could create more consistent strategies and products. Meanwhile, the national organizations would focus on local sales and adapting products to specific market needs. In summary, Philips wanted to lower costs, compete globally, and streamline operations by shifting power from national organizations to global product divisions.
Jan already talked about the benefits of the transformation, and I will now tackle the question why it was so hard to achieve and what kind of hardships there were in the process. First and foremost, being the managerial or cultural resistance. Philips had a long-standing tradition of strong local autonomy, meaning that the managers and national organization had a lot of independence and authority. The changes, though, reduced their authority, which led to a strong resistance of the managers itself. In addition to that, the complex structure of the national organizations led to the fact that the reorganization involved balancing global efficiency with local responsiveness. While product divisions took over production and global strategies, national organizations still retained responsibilities for local marketing and sales, leading to coordination challenges between these two instances. Last but not least, there was also some kind of organizational inertia. Philips faced structural inertia where entrenched practices and established ways of operating made transformation difficult, and the shift required changing deeply ingrained organizational norms and behaviors.
Question 3. What was the point of the organizational changes made by Cor Boonstra, and what was he trying to achieve? What was the point of organization changes made by Cor Boonstra? First is to simplify a complex structure. Philips' organization was described as a plate of spaghetti due to its tangled and inefficient structure. Second is to shift power to product divisions. Historically, national organizations held substantial autonomy, creating challenges for centralized coordination. Third is to reduce duplication of activities. Manufacturing, marketing, and other activities were often replicated across national organizations, leading to unnecessarily high costs. And lastly is to enhance global coordination. A centralized structure allowed Philips to better align its operation, production, and marketing efforts across international markets.
Alright, so the next question is what was he trying to achieve? The first one is global competitiveness. One of Boonstra's primary goals was to position Philips as a global competitor against industry giants like Sony and Matsushita. He believed that Philips could no longer rely on its fragmented national organizations to compete effectively. By centralizing operations and empowering global divisions, he sought to create a unified approach to developing and marketing products worldwide. The second one is operational efficiency. Philips was known for its strong local operation, but these came at cost. Duplicative efforts in productions, marketing, and management across different countries. Boonstra change aimed to cut through this inefficiency by reducing the number of divisions from 21 to 7 and consolidating productions, marketing, and development under these global divisions. Philips could operate with significant lower cost and improved focus. The third one is strategic focus. Boonstra wanted Philips to focus on its strengths and prioritize areas with the most growth potential, instead of spreading resources thin across too many initiatives. His vision was to direct energy and investments into core divisions and that could drive innovations and profitability. Last one is faster decision making. A major issue Philips faced was the slow and complex decision-making process caused by its decentralized structure. Boonstra shift power away from national organizations to global divisions, allowing faster and more coordinated decisions that aligned with the global strategies. This shift also ensured Philips could respond swiftly to change in market demands and emerging opportunities.
The last question is, in 2008, Philips reorganized yet again. Why do you think they did this? What were they trying to achieve? So I will discuss the first part of this question. Why do you think they did this? In 2008, I think Philips reorganized because it was still struggling to compete effectively with global rivals, even after previous restructuring efforts. The company faced inefficiency and high costs due to duplicated activities across its decentralized national organization, which made it difficult to implement a unified global strategy. At the same time, competitors like Sony, General Electric, and Samsung were benefiting from economies of scale and lower production costs, leaving Philips at a disadvantage. To address this issue, Philips streamlined its operation by consolidating into three global divisions, which is healthcare, lighting, and consumer lifestyle. They also shift production to low-cost location and eliminated redundancy. This centralized approach was designed to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and position Philips more competitively in the global market.
Let's understand what Philips was trying to achieve when they underwent a major reorganization. They actually wanted to boost their global competitiveness. Facing pressure from rivals, the company needed to become more globally oriented. They wanted to prioritize product divisions over regional ones to better address worldwide markets. This shift aimed to enhance competitiveness by focusing on core areas like healthcare and consumer lifestyle. Relocating production to low-cost countries was key to competing with rivals, especially countries in East Asia. The reorganization also fostered innovation by encouraging collaboration and knowledge sharing between divisions. This allowed Philips to leverage its expertise to develop new products. Ultimately, Philips was transforming into an agile, market driven, and globally integrated company.